But Sean's part of the problem with movies. And that's the part he hasn't accepted.
No.
I told him this 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
This is not true.
Was this after his monologue?
No, I hadn't heard the monologue yet, but it was ironic because of what my take was. I agreed with Sean's take about the strike.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the number one thing. I
It's
think
a
that strike
big
just
deal.
fucked things up.
It's a big deal.
Because we see it in TV too. Those 2 TV shows that came out this week. One with Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one called?
Next week is Clipped and Presumed Innocent. Or 2 weeks, I think, Presumed Innocent. So Clipped comes out
Presumed
next week.
Innocent. There's a show we needed. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen.
The movies because you're not
I wonder who
interested
did
in the movies, or you're not interested in the experience.
Which one?
Like if you're gonna go see Furiosa, like let's say you would. Would you? Are you? Did you ever?
No, you know what I'm
consider
not going to see? Because it's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh,
I don't want to
man.
spend 4 hours going to and from a movie theater when I could be watching the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Bill, seriously, we got on a work call and he was like, "You're part of the problem," but he will not go see Furiosa. He just will not go to the movie theater.
I like we did Fast Times, and
Yeah.
Craig, we were told Craig.
And he
doing
said it's
Fast
90
Times.
minutes. I can't believe
Craig
it.
texts back, 90 minutes!
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
I-
That's part of the problem.
I can't argue with that.
What was breaking away? Like an hour
140.
140.
Yeah.
Tight. I in general, I think some movies, if they want to be 3.5 hours, I'm fine with it if it's a big idea and a big story. But you're like down the middle genre movie being 2 hours and 20 minutes. I don't really understand.
Iron Claw, 2 hours plus, and didn't even have one of the brothers in it.
It's a good point.
They're
Well,
like, yeah, we don't have room for we can't tell that story. It's like your movie's 2.5 hours.
it's tough. Would you have wanted it to be 3 hours with one
No.
more
No,
brother?
you want
yeah.
an hour and a half version. It's like get rid of some other brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they all should have died in the first scene. That would have been a lot better.
Yeah, just a montage.
Well, like when Taken comes on,
Uh-huh.
it's like, what's that, like 89 minutes? It's like, oh, they took his
And
daughter.
really-
Oh, he's going to France.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
It just flies by. Maybe that's what we need.
what does Iron Claw have to do with Taken? Honestly.
No,
Just
but he's
like-
saying like he had the same resistance to Wick 4. We were like, what are we gonna do?
Well,
with
that's a fair point.
I-
Wick 4 is too long.
Yeah.
FYI, I still haven't seen Wick 4.
Did you
And I
start it?
love John Wick. I watched 40 minutes of it on an airplane. I'm like, I can't do it this way.
Did you know it's 10 years since Wick 1, which we've never done? 10 years. Now that's a banger.
Should we do Wick 1 on Monday?
Damn. Well, when we all knew each other in 14, I
Mm.
felt like that was one of the last fun movie years.
19 is an incredible movie year.
Yeah, 19's Once
I
Upon a
said
Time in
one
Hollywood.
of the last.
Yeah, 19 to me is that's like the demarcation point. It
And
was
then COVID.
Yeah.
but there were literally 50 movies in 19 where I was like, wow, that was really good.
I want to get back to 1979, but I don't feel like it's ever happening. I also wonder if we're just running out of stories to tell. And people are afraid.
I don't think
because-
it's that. I think it's the economics of it seem like really complicated. Like we said, it's like you can make something like this, even adjusted the budget, it would be like $20 million to make Breaking Away.
Yeah.
And,
And
if it
like
made
Chalamet
50
would have had to be
million-
the Dennis Christopher part.
Yeah,
Why
but-
does Fall Guy cost $140 million? I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's not necessary.
I have an old guy in the couch point too. Could part of it be people spend less time socially interacting, which makes it less likely for them to come up with cool movie ideas because they're just like
Oh.
we're a more online society.
I think maybe people are getting a little bit overly swayed by like online discourse about movies before they just go check them out, you know?
That's a separate
Because I was
piece.
thinking about like
yeah,
with
that's a separate
Furiosa,
problem.
and it's like Furiosa is pretty good, and everybody who sees it is like, that was pretty good. That was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
And like if you just did pure word of mouth rather than like I've read 10 articles about
Right.
how Furiosa
Right.
signals the end of the movie industry.
Yeah, I'm obviously guilty of that as well. But I think there's this thing going on where like a lot of the masters of movies right now don't like telling contemporary stories because you have to put cell phones in them. And so like cell phones kind of ruin the ability, like a lot of the problems of some of the great movies of the first 100 years of film. If you had a cell phone, they would be solved.
Yeah.
You know, just be like, just call Jim. And then we wouldn't have to worry about this ghost haunting us in this house.
Right.
So that is an issue. But I will say there's a sequence with a cell phone in Hitman where I was like, that's the coolest use of a cell phone I've seen in a movie, maybe ever. And so there's stuff to do.
So I was texting my buddy Gus about the Kings Island episode about the Brady Bunch because it's just insane. And Gus was saying how the episode couldn't exist now because Mr. Brady would lose the plans and then he would just text Jan, hey, can you grab the plans?
Right.
Cell phones have solved 50% of the dilemmas we ever had in a movie.
Right.
Because even like a movie like Go, which I just watched, because I was scouting it for Rewatchables, it's not quite there.
But a cell phone would have solved an issue in that movie?
No, it's just I think you watch movies like that now and the lack of a cell phone and people being able to get a hold of each other is such a big part of so many movies like that.
Right. I wonder how crazy movies like that are going to seem in 20 years when we have fully moved on from generations.
Yeah, but if we don't make
never had a cell
movies
phone
that are contemporary at all, like if every movie is either set before cell phones or in a dystopian future where people don't really use them because they're getting screens on like billboards or like Blade Runner, like there will be this huge like gap of like films not documenting contemporary life.
Pulp Fiction. Did you remember my watch? He's just texting that to her now, and then she would remember the watch.
Yeah. Set an alarm. Yeah.
So basically, we should ban cell phones to make movies more interesting.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of filmmakers have just not written contemporary movies because of this.